with your eyes. Your eyes, the heart with your eyes. Your eyes, the heart with your eyes. Your eyes, the heart with your eyes.
But here's the thing, frickin' banjo and no fanfare. This is all good for us if we don't lose our minds like banjo. Banjo has lost his mind. It's pissing me off. If they're lying, I'm lying.
But when you deceive, you're actually trying very hard to set things up in such a way to ensure or guarantee as much as possible that the truth will not be discovered.
Was 24-hour sun in Antarctica acted? Quick and summary video that questions the veracity of the footage at the Union Glacier base. The first question is, why did the channel The Final Experiment remove all the videos it had posted of Antarctica from its channel? Why it would have been the first time that flight radar followed the flight route from Punta Arenas to the Union Glacier base, where over 100 people have been flying for the marathon for 10 years. Why are all the shots of the interviewees taken from a fixed camera like the astronauts do on the alleged ISS? Why is there this telephoto lens that should also move up and down in addition to turning to follow the sun when you only show a video, this one, where you can see the shadow of this mountain, where the other shadows are dubious, and if we use filters, you can clearly see the break between a background and the foreground. Why don't you see anyone go beyond this point?
For somebody like me and like you, we've never been in the South.
Never been in the South.
Never been in the South. Never been in the South. Never been in the South.
I know them. I've met them. I've hung out with them. I consider them good friends.
So at least we know we have two solid guys.
Hello, everyone. Hope you guys are doing fine today. Welcome to the show. Thanks the Lord for another Sunday or Monday. For me, here is Monday morning. So yes, I had to change the thumbnail because in the US they have a different time zones now. I think they are on daylight savings. So some people were getting confused, about the time of the show. So it's my time is 10 a.m. here. I think now the US is Eastern time at 9 p.m. and Pacific time is 6 p.m. So hello everyone, welcome to the show. I appreciate all of you being here, all the nice comments. Hello Tammy, Yuko is in the house, Solin, Get Fit, Chris, Liz, Lisa, yes, how are you, Lisa? So many good people here, Jairo. So welcome to the show. So yes, we have to constantly be watchful, because these guys are always, every week, I almost had, I want to talk about the Concorde today, the rate of descent, but so many things came up during the week that I almost had to postpone talking about it, but I will see if I can squeeze everything here today. And let's go ahead and get started. So we waste no time. Let me just share my screen here. Share entire screen. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with this. First of all, our scripture. Oops, let me remove the content. The comment here for a minute. I always share this scripture, one of my favorites. Hebrews 1, 1 and 2. God, who at sundry times and in divers manners spake in time past unto the fathers by the prophets, hath in these last days spoken to us by his Son, whom he hath appointed heir of all things. It's very important because there's no communication between the Father and us except through Jesus Christ. So as I have said before, nobody's telling anyone in the Middle East to build another temple. There's no prophets today telling those people to build the third temple. There are no visions for them. Only Jesus Christ speaks through us. There is only communication through Jesus Christ. So that's, and just, if they are rejecting Jesus Christ, there's no communication with the Father. All right, let me share some things real quick. So you know how YouTube is; they really censor flat Earth stuff. Very, very extremely disappointing and frustrating at sometimes. You know, this is back in 2019 to limit recommendations of borderline content and harmful misinformation, such as videos promoting a phony miracle cure for serious illnesses or claiming the Earth is flat. So very disappointing when I upload sometimes 20 videos during the week, uh, with my backup channels. And then when I go search for those videos, I see I cannot find any of them. This is from last week because I talked, a couple of topics they consider perhaps borderline. The live stream was closed abruptly for me. I had no access to anything. So just to show you how, it's not easy sometimes, but we have to move on. We have to keep pounding. We are still making progress. Flat Earth is growing strong, and we need to keep pounding that. So a little bit of side news. The national debt is at 39 trillion. One economist says it's actually $100 trillion. That's the size of the national debt in the United States. We do have conversation classes every week with students. And just a couple of weeks ago, I was talking with a student and he was asking me for some advice on investing the money. And I told him I don't have any money to invest, but, thanks to some, advice of you, some of the viewers, I was able to tell this guy to invest in silver or gold because it's the one thing that might be uh, reliable right now. Because with $100 trillion national debt, I mean it's unsustainable. Japan is right there. It's really uh, has a huge debt. I have a free download today. I found these our flying ambassadors and their routes. It's a 1929 map. So I will be posting the link to on the chat today. You can download for free. It's a very high resolution map. Formosa, that's how Taiwan used to be called. But anyway, this is azimuthal equidistance. I don't personally believe anybody flew right above the North Pole, but they say these guys here did. You know, nobody, this is all Freemasons. Most of them were Freemasons. Admiral Byrd, all these guys. But anyway, it's a historic map, azimuthal map, free for downloading today. I will be posting the link for you guys in a few minutes. This is I want to share this with you. I'm not gonna play the audio because the audio is in Portuguese. So this lady lives in Germany. She's a Brazilian living in Germany. She doesn't do anything about blogging about wars or anything. She just posts videos about life in Germany. But this week she posted a very interesting video. She lives in a town where there is an American hospital, and that's the hospital that the people in the city used. Like it's open to the public. But she was telling how this hospital suddenly had to close down, and they are treating thousands. And she says in the video they are treating thousands of U.S. military personnel, American soldiers, not not the dozens, not a couple, not hundreds. She says thousands are being treated in that military hospital. So the hospital is closed to the public. And she keeps on saying like how life changed because that was the only hospital that the public was using. Now the hospital is closed and they are treating thousands. And she used the name. She used like by the dozens, and not by the dozens, by the scores. They are treating soldiers by the scores. So great quantity of American personnel being treated there. So the number of the people being injured in this war in in Iran, it's much higher than are telling us. Just to let you guys know. Another news that made it this week: Silverstein lands 24K as San Francisco lease at LA's U.S. Bank Tower. So you guys remember the last time this guy rented the World Trade Center 6 weeks before the whole tower came down. So he landed another building here in Los Angeles. He just secured that. So what's up to? They have been saying that LA will be hit by supposedly Iranian drones. It smells to me like an inside job. So I don't know. I'm just saying, just posting this out there. Another thing that I want to share with you guys, look at this statue here. Look at the details of this statue. Supposedly done in the Renaissance like 500 years ago. So I'm going to share something with you guys. You guys are going to be extremely like, you know, you're going to wonder this. This is Alexandria Post, Alexandria Douglas County, Minnesota, Friday, July 2nd, 1886. Electrotyping bodies. The new system of disposing of dead bodies devised by a breast chemist has much to recommend it. That is, its practical features have not seen overrated. The process consists simply in coating the body with a substance which, after proper treatment, leaves all over it a metallic deposit. Then, just as all electrotype plate is treated in the process of its manufacture, the body goes into a bath of sulfate of copper, electricity is employed, and a fine, hard copper skin is produced all over it. This can be plated with silver, gold, or any metal desired, according to the wealth of the deceased and the wishes of his heirs. It will be perceived at a glance that the process will be a great thing in the event of a great man's death, as affording a means of setting up an absolutely perfect statue of him at the minimum of expenses. He is plated and put upon a pedestal, that is all there is of it. The traveler of the future, gazing upon the statue of a famous personage of the past, will be quite certain that he has before him not merely a marble imitation, but the famous personage himself, with only the change in personal appearance of having a firmer and brighter skin than in real life, and of lacking something perhaps of what might be called vivacity of expression. How different must be the traveller's sensations in such a case from what they would be were he looking merely at an unmeaning block of stone hewed out by some artist of more or less ability. And aside from the case of a great man, the new system has its enormous advantages for use in private life. It cannot cost much to have a body electrotyped in plain copper, and then, in case of straitened circumstances, the statue can be laid aside until means are available for plating it. The deceased will necessarily look for a season like an American Indian, but that can be changed at any time. The scientist of the breast appears to have hit upon a great device, something calculated to make even crematory stock go down. Chicago Tribune. So that was reported in 1886. They already had this technology. So are we looking at this as really, is this new technology or really old that they just used in the, after the release of Satan, the beginning of Satan Little Season? Because this is too perfect to be done by just hammer and chisel. So talking about all those Balenciaga statues, which, if you guys probably know something about it, that, a lot of talks that they were using really humans, some of those statues there, really crazy. Another thing here shared, Disclosure Day coming up. I think it's when? July? Movie by Steven Spielberg. And we know Steven Spielberg, the whole little girl, I forgot her name, Sharon Tate or whatever. But anyway, just like in the movie Space Odyssey, and then 1 year later they landed on the moon, supposedly. So here we have, thanks Dave Foggy for sharing this, Steven Spielberg's Disclosure Days, upcoming American science fiction film directed by Spielberg, marking his return to this alien-themed genre since War of the Worlds 2005. So release date, the film is scheduled to premiere in the United States on June 12th, 2026. So, counting from this date, perhaps 6 months later, 1 year later, there will be the disclosure, you know. So let me check the chat real quick before we get into this Concorde. Sorry, guys, I'm going to have to put my jacket on. It's a bit cold here, still cold here. Shout out to Ricky, Minnesota. He told me he had I think 20 inches of snow this weekend. He's buried there under snow. All right, just a quick check here. I hope my audio is okay. So let me see. True Christians in the house. Welcome, everyone. True Christian, we will be talking about, I'm going to highlight your comment here. I'll be talking about. Yeah, they were plating people and making them statues, electrotyping. That's the technology. 1886 on the newspaper. And that was probably not new technology. He was using something that had been done, several years. I mean, hundreds of years, perhaps centuries. All right, so let me move on to this. I really want to share this Concorde stuff. Really, really important, and we need to understand we live on a flat and non-rotating Earth. It's impossible to land a plane, especially the Concorde, over a ball Earth. It's impossible. All right, so this is the topic for today that I really wanted to address. The Concorde proves flat Earth. So let's get started with this here. I tried to find a manual or something original from the Concorde. I went to Air France and British Airways, and all that I could find was this thing that ChatGPT extracted from their sources, official source. So rule used in Concorde planning, altitude to lose 300 divided by 300 equals distance in nautical miles. So here's an example from the Concorde tutorials. Let's say that it's flying 60,000 feet. You divide it by 300, so you need 200 nautical miles to land the Concorde. Okay, and the 20 nautical miles allowance, approach allowance, and 220 nautical miles top of descent. So this is in the manual. They gave us the right triangle. As I told you guys before, there's no calculation for the curvature of the Earth. In 220 miles, we have approximately 253 statute miles, all flying over land, and without accounting for any sort of curvature. So I placed this on ChatGPT and I asked them to create for me a diagram showing the Concorde landing, and that's what I got, the top of descent, TOD, or rate of descent. So you have the altitude to lose about 60,000 feet. You use a right triangle to calculate, and slow into subsonic. So you need 253 statute miles to land the Concorde, between 60,000 feet to the destination. Okay, either New York or London or Paris or Rio, because the Concorde flew Paris to Rio. So if you throw this information on the Earth curve calculator, we got a big problem here because you have the height 6,000 feet, distance 253 miles to calculate, and you have D1 here is the horizon, distance to the horizon. So what would happen if you had to land this airplane on the target here 253 miles away? Well, you have a mountain in between approximately 27,000 feet, 25,000 feet high, and you would see the Concorde crashing right, against that bulge, the hill right there, between the rate of between 60,000 feet and the target right here. So it's impossible. That's why they don't calculate the rate of descent. They go from 500 feet per minute to 800, sometimes 900 feet per minute. On the ball, you would have to calculate that to be 2,800 feet per minute, which means twice, almost two times the so-called gravity fall, which is like, I believe, 1,500 feet per minute, calculating on their supposed gravity. But on the ball, you have to go twice that speed. All right, so here you have the root 2 triangle, the rate of descent of any, you need a right triangle to calculate. That's where you need those angles here in between. The angles here are 52 degrees. It keeps going 50 degrees all the way to the end. It doesn't change. Now on the ball, it's impossible. It's totally impossible. Imagine curved, From your feet, project angles bench at the horizon, on the flat earth. But on the curved ground, physical angles cascade in all directions. It's virtually impossible to land a plane on a ball earth. So what we have here is the radius. Imagine a table, a flat table. You have the radius, just like we calculated the earth is, round like a pizza, not as a ball, flat and round like a pizza. So this is the correct way they calculated the rate of descent. They never calculate on a ball earth. It's virtually impossible. The other topic that I want to talk about, let me just show one more thing here, because I want to present a video. So you have two kinds of, you have the CDA versus the stepped descent. The continuous descent arrival, CDA, when the airplane goes continuously until it touches the ground, or you have a stepped descent. It descends and then flies straight again and then descends. So I'm going to play a video here of a pilot explaining the type of descent, and he's going to use this one here, the stepped descent. Let's watch this real quick, then we should continue. It's right here.
Now, as you see on the PFD and ND, we're at 27,000 feet with a speed of 320 knots. So with that data, we want to calculate the distance we need to fly a continuous descent profile. So we're going to cross out the last digits and divide that by 3. So 270 divided by 3 equals 90. So 90 nautical miles is the minimum distance we'll need for our descent. In the rarest cases, the vertical profile is a 3-degree glide slope from top to bottom, as it is sheer impossible to maintain that slope and reduce speed at the same time. So commonly, pilots start off with a high-speed descent at 3 degrees or steeper. Now, just before reaching 10,000 feet, you dial down the speed, the plane pitches upwards, creating a shallower descent path equal to 1,000 feet per 5 nautical miles. Now, once you receive further descent clearance, you rejoin the 3-degree angle equal to 1,000 feet vertically, needing 3 nautical miles horizontally. Maintain 250 knots until reaching 5,000 feet. Dial down the speed even more so you can extend the slats and flaps to establish yourself on the ILS, VOR approach, etc. So your vertical profile is going to look something similar to this.
All right, so he explained both of them, right? First, he showed the continuous descent arrival, and then he explained the stepped descent, But all of them, as I told you guys, I have a playlist of several. You can find hundreds or thousands of flight schools, flight academies, pilots. They make all these videos calculating the rate of descent. In this case, he calculated 27,000 feet. You need about 103 statute miles. If you double the height, like the Concorde, about 54,000 feet, 60,000 feet, you double the distance. You go to between 220 to 250 statute miles to land the plane, always considering a flat, non-rotating Earth all the time. No curvature is accounted for any rate of descent. Never, 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 never. Okay. All right. So the next point that I want to talk about is Concorde. Look at how thin the wings are. Really, really thin. Okay. So you here see the two trucks fueling this Concorde. Okay. But the problem is where all this fuel go. And here's the Concorde again, comparing size. And I asked, OpenAI, how much fuel does the Concorde need it? So they gave me the quantity in liters, 120,000 liters, which equals to 30,000 gallons. So it's very hard to imagine 30,000 gallons of fuel in this thin, very thin wings, So it equals to 30,000. So one small fuel tanker, 10,000 liters, about 3,000 gallons. And then keeps going. So this truck here supposedly carries 30,000 liters or about 8,000 gallons. Okay. So you would need 4 trucks like this, 4 trucks of fuel to fit. Now you see those trucks here, those are small trucks, compared to the size of the airplane. You need 4 tankers like this one, according to OpenAI, to fit inside those thin, very thin. I don't. There's a lot of debate about airplanes don't need fuel for flying. I worked at the airport. I saw them pumping, fuel. I smelled the smell. I went there under the wings of the airplane. I saw them doing everything. But this case, the Concorde, I think they fly so high that they use some sort of electric charge, being so close to there's the ionosphere that rotates up there, and being so close to that region, I think they combine some sort of electrical power charging these planes. They use fuel just for takeoff, takeoff or landing, but while on cruise, because it's, they say all these are tanks, tanks. But here in this drawing, they show a really thick wing. But when you see the wing, it's not that thick, If you compare here, this is the Microsoft Flight Simulator for the Concorde. So thin, so thin. There's no room for fuel. Now this one says the fuel is blue right here. The other drawing says the fuel was here, right? And this is how to transfer the fuel. And this is the approach on landing. The landing, typical approach, 11 to 12 degrees. But I'm not going to go over this. We already did. It's around 250 miles for landing this. Okay. So, yes, it's quite impossible to fly and to land a Concorde, calculate the top of descent on a spherical Earth. You know, considering the curvature, it would crash. There would be a bulge between 60,000 feet, 250 miles target. The airplane would crash on a bulge, on a mountain, on a hill, measuring around 27,000 feet high, right? Like, I don't know how tall the Himalaya is, but it would be a couple sizes of that. So anyways, quite impossible to land an airplane on a ball that, ball-shaped problem angles, curved ground, physical angles cascade in all directions. Quite impossible, you know, to land an airplane on a ball spherical Earth. You need to calculate. That's why they don't calculate on a ball Earth, because it's not reality. All right, these things you need to be calculated in reality. I showed you guys about the trim. I showed you the documentation where they consider a flat Earth when calculating or testing trim. Trim is when the airplane locks on cruise. It keeps flying straight and level until it reaches its destination. A lot of information, today. And I need to have a quick break for water. Let's play a song for now, and we should be back. And then I'll catch up with the chat for a minute. Okay, let me just play a first song. I don't have I have a new song, but I didn't have time to put it into a video, so I'll play one that I played last week.
Biblical view. Earth at the center, this is what's true. Believe the word, not NASA lies. The sun and moon move, open your eyes. Yeah. Oh, Galileo, what have you done? Oh, Galileo, you think you won. Oh, Galileo, but you were wrong, so wrong.
The sun moved backwards in Isaiah 38:8. The sun stood still 24 hours in the sky by command in Joshua. The sun and moon are on a circuit. Earth is a stationary, geocentric, topographical level plane, and water always seeks its level at rest. The stars above the pyramids have been observed fixed for 4,000 years, and Polaris is observed never moving. We need to check matters out.
All right, shout out to Victoria. She sent me this song, Oh Galileo. All the songs are on our playlist. Okay, just go to my channel there. You'll find it right there. All right, a couple of very important, comments that I saw here, which I just lost them again. Yeah, I did lose them. Yeah, I can't find it right now. So, yeah, Tesla new and so much more. As I saw here that they had, we are not. They say, "Oh, we are the top of the technology." No, we are not. We have, little by little, they are displaying. They are making public something that they have hidden, knowledge they have had hidden for so long. So about the Concorde, yeah, probably they use. I think it's a mix, just like a hybrid car. You have a Prius or a hybrid car. You have fuel for some, for some time, for some moments, and then you switch. And then that's what I think. Especially the Concorde, they use fuel, for landing or for taking off. But once they reach 60,000 feet, they switch to electric, charge it by the ionosphere up there. That's my thoughts on the Concorde. After I was studying about the rate of descent, and then I said, well, that's not only it, that's more, because those wings cannot fit 30,000 gallons of fuel. It's so much heavy. You imagine 4 tankers like that on this. It's just too much. All right, I saw some other comments here. I will see if I find it again on the next song. Okay. Hello, my brother in Canada. Hello, great to see you here. Really great to see you here. All right, so one more thing that I want to share. Actually, a couple more things. So I'm speeding up. Okay. So, I am bothered with this because I told you guys, we did a whole bunch of shows about how dangerous I think futurism or dispensationalism is, because it keeps, giving false hopes for people. This guy here, rapture coming, Palm Sunday, and all is like that. We saw the guy who was killed in Iran, Ali Khamenei. But a few decades ago, people say, no, he is the Antichrist, And here you see Pastor Dean Odo saying, no, this guy was the Prince Hussein from Jordan. he made a sermon. He preached a sermon saying, "No, this is the Antichrist." That was back 2011. So only false hopes, false teaching coming from dispensationalism. And I have a guys like this one here. Just take a listen. This is what this guy said.
Let's cut through this internet schizophrenia that people are calling biblical prophecy. This quote-unquote Satan's little season conspiracy is not deep. It is not edgy. It is not hidden wisdom. It is just biblical illiteracy mixed with pseudo history, flat earth nonsense, Tartaria fan fiction, and a complete refusal to read the book of Revelation in order.
Flat earth nonsense.
So there you have the guy who believes in a spinning ball, Earth. Probably believes the rapture is coming, this Sunday or next Sunday. Criticizing Satan's little season and flat earth at the same time, I mean, a lot of people that I've been notes that I've been commenting on my videos on, calling me names, they are ball earth worshippers, they still believe the NASA and all that stuff. And they come here and they criticize me for the little season. When the little season has way more scripture backing. And I want to share some with you today, You guys know this guy here, J.P. Sears. I want to play, even him knows that we are in Satan's little season now. And I'm going to play this video here. Let me add you the video file here. And let's see. Go desktop. This one. I'm not going to play the whole thing because
crimes against children.
He really made a 10 minutes long video about it. Just want to play a few minutes.
Yeah, with all the crimes against children, cover-ups, and lack of accountability of elites, do you ever feel like the world is run by Satanists? Well, that's because it is. We'll get into that and some other good news tonight. Okay, welcome to We Lie to You News. Satan's running the world. There it is. And here in America, with primaries coming up, if we're not careful, Satanists will win the primaries instead of other Satanists winning. But how do you know who the Satanists in power are? That's a great question. Here's a clue. Look for the ones that cover up satanic things. Because most of the time, they don't let you see them doing satanic things, but you can see them covering them up. Like just for, and this is a crazy example, it's been over 80 days since the Epstein Transparency Act passed, and to celebrate, the DOJ just announced that it will not be releasing any more Epstein files. To date, they've released 3 million of the 6 million files, and they're just not going to release the other half, which is definitely breaking the law at this point. Now, we don't want to be idiot conspiracy theorists here, so you have to have an open mind. Why won't they be releasing the other half? Well, it's either because there's just nothing to see in them and they want to protect you from boredom, or it's because they're actively covering up satanic activity. I don't know which. Satanic activity against children? But what about Iran? Now that's a great question, almost a distracting one. The most interesting thing about Iran since the bombing started is that Google searches for Epstein files have dropped by 95%. Well, golly, that's either a fascinating coincidence or it too is part of a satanic cover-up. Orchestrated at the world leader level that you see right in the middle there, right under Zionists, but also including them. Oh, that's right, Ben. Both of your eyebrows heard me right. But what do those shitty little creatures at the bottom, known as people, think? Well, let's take a look. War crimes don't hide sex crimes. Huh. Well, according to 95% less searches on Google, they at least try to hide the crimes. Other little people at the bottom, in the form of women, showed up outside of Epstein's Zorro Ranch wanting answers. They were gonna get them. Anyway, Several years ago, the FBI prohibited an investigation into the Zorro Ranch. So the women that showed up wanting justice and answers are hopeful that everything above them in the power structure will investigate itself to see if itself did anything wrong. Now let's just make a wild presumption that the new investigation into Zorro Ranch finds there was no wrongdoing. Is that because there was no wrongdoing, or because Satanists are covering up satanic activity? You hear that, babe?
I mean, I'm not gonna be, but even people, a lot of people know that Satan is ruling this world right now. You know, it wasn't like that. You know, we had some time where Satan was bound, but now he is ruling the world, and it's pretty easy to see because everything we do now, you depend on them. Like the food we eat. Just saw a video how in China they are faking rice, making plastic, you know, and selling to people as real rice. I mean, all this fakery everywhere you go. You try to find justice. Nobody, no one who does all those evil things gets any jail time. They don't go. So you know this that Satan rules the world by the things that you see happening around you. You know, so clear. And I have had, you know, I love my King James Bible, I do, but I have to confess that I have had some problems with it, you know, and I'm gonna share here you know, what I mean by that. For example, there is a passage, and I knew this passage, uh, but this guy called Dutch peasant, he he brought it up. I knew this Geneva Bible, 1599, talking about this passage here in Ephesians 6:12. Look what says the King James Version, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual weaknesses in high places. But look what the Geneva Bible says, 1599. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, and against the worldly governors. And against the worldly governors. So King James did leave this part out because that included himself, you know, all those presidents and prime ministers and everything, you know. So we are, you know, struggling and against not just the spiritual principalities, but the physical ones, the elected ones, you know, and he left this out. Very important. Now we should know this because we must, especially some people who treat those politicians as God. They are not, you know. They are many of the time they are on the side of Satan. You know, law enforcement. And another passage, very important here, there I did not know this. This credit to Dutch peasant. The very important passage here, in the beginning, in Genesis. Okay, the four rivers. All right. If you read this four rivers, it says the Euphrates, but that's not what it says. The name also of the third river is the Kel, and it goes towards the east side of Ashur. And the fourth river this is the name of the fourth river. It's not Euphrates, it's this one, Pirath. Okay, so that's why a lot of us are questioning the veracity of that land in the Middle East as being the biblical Jerusalem. Okay, these are the four rivers, you know. And I have two videos that I want to play here for you concerning the mapping. The first one is this.
Okay, so I was reading the Bible, and now I'm starting to wonder if we're being lied to about modern day maps. Here's why. If you're a Christian, I hope you know this, but God did pour destruction on Jerusalem. He let the Babylonians destroy it and take captives. This was prophesied in the book of Jeremiah. Here's my question. As you can see, I have a map in the back. In Jeremiah, it says in 1:14, the Lord said unto me, Out of the north an evil shall break forth upon all the inhabitants of the land. Jeremiah 4:6, set up the standard towards Zion, retire, stay not, for I will bring evil from the north and a great destruction. So here's my question. If God says out of the north the Babylonians will come, can somebody tell me why on modern day maps? I went to go look this up because I wanted to see, why is Babylon on the east? That's not the north. So God says, this is Jerusalem, I'm going to bring destruction from the north. Why is it east? I don't know. Somebody, that doesn't, I don't know. And then Egypt is always personified as the south. I don't know. That doesn't make sense. I think I'm questioning things right now.
And I do have, guys, another video, but it's a bit longer. It shows more discrepancies where the Bible says one thing and we find in the modern maps, especially the globe, in totally different regions. So, that's why we must question and keep questioning, searching for truth. And I think I'm on the right path. I get, just this week, it's funny because I've done almost 10 years here. And I always hosted people here defending the futurism. I never had any problem about it. And no one ever said anything. But the moment I started talking about the little season, I had a preterist just calling me names this past week. Why didn't he call me any names for the 9 years that I held the futurist, view? Not really 9 years, because I realized the prophecy of Daniel had been fulfilled in Christ, a long time ago, but it wasn't something that I was deep into studying. But definitely futurism or dispensationalism is out. It's totally a false doctrine. It's basically Zionism, so can rally people to support the modern state, which is, I have so much stuff that I would like to share with you. Perhaps I'm going to share one more video. This is one of the reasons that my channel, sometimes the live stream ends abruptly. I don't have time to talk, to comment or anything, because I play videos like this one here.
That many of the Jewish people in AD 70, they saw it as the exact fulfillment to the words of Christ, and they realized in that moment, oh my goodness, he was right, we crucified our Messiah. And they actually got out. Many were destroyed and died in Jerusalem who did not believe. They stayed thinking, oh, we'll make it, God will defend us. They stayed and they were conquered and they died. But the ones who escaped, they escaped because they saw it as a fulfillment to Christ's words, and they believed, they heard and believed his words. And they said, whoa, this is what Jesus said would happen before us, this generation passed away. He actually was the Messiah, and we should believe in him, salvation. So they became Christians, and also we should practically obey him by getting out of Dodge. And so the Jews who lived were the Jews who became Christians. They converted to Christianity, they believed the words of Jesus, and they fled. They escaped from that desolation in AD 70, and they mingled. Therefore, they no longer have a nation state, which means they're now refugees in other places. They committed themselves, this is the logical conclusion, committed themselves to the apostolic teaching of the New Testament that says it is not about one who is a Jew outwardly of the flesh, but inwardly, not circumcision of the flesh, but circumcision of the heart. So they no longer put stock in their Jewishness according to the flesh, believed that Jesus was the Messiah, converted to Christianity, escaped the judgment. All the ones who didn't have this heart change stayed and died in the judgment. And so now these guys, they're Christians, they're alive, and they're not putting stock in the flesh anymore, and they don't have a nation state to mingle in anymore. So they're dispersed, a dispersion among all these other Gentile countries, and they likely, logically, intermarried with them. And so who are the physical Jews today? Here it is. Nobody. Nobody. There are Palestinians. They've swabbed 2,000-year-old catacombs underneath Israel, and there are Palestinians that actually match up more than Ashkenazi Jews. And there are people who argue for the black Hebrew Israelites, and people who argue, well, the Caucasians, because they dispersed them above the Caucasus Mountain. Here, I love all those views. You know why I love them? Not because I believe them. I love all those views because I love every time somebody comes to me and says, white people are actually the physical descendants, black people are the descendants, Palestinians are the descendants, Ashkenazi Jews are the descendants, or here's an alternative. Titus destroyed the temple. The birth records were literally kept in the temple so that God saw fit that no one would be able to prove who actually was a descendant of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Why? Because it doesn't matter. Because now what matters is faith in Christ. Faith in Christ.
Great words. And so my problem is with all those, especially, I hate to say it, but Pastor Dinodo, who pushes the Zion agenda. it all come. I think the whole dispensationalism, all pushing to this agenda, it came around the same time when Zionism was on the rise, and so that's my point that I want to talk about. That want to still cover more subjects, and which goes along. Let me see. I have one more link here that was also shared with me. No, I don't want this. Yeah, this goes right along with what we are talking right now. There was another link. The Democrat lawmakers demand probe into Pentagon officials saying Iran war God's divine plan. I wouldn't, I mean, God's divine plan, if you see here, those are airplanes flying out of Israel, modern day Israel. So who is fighting who? Not them, If they were the, really God's people, they are fleeing. And the Gentiles are flying in to fight, or they are flying out. So, I mean, it doesn't make any sense, all of that stuff. It does add up. It doesn't add up. Okay. All right. So let me catch up here real quick, and then I have more stuff that I want to share. Also, it seems like a lot of time, 90 minutes, an hour and a half. We go so fast, Highlight this passage, and ye be Christ, then are ye Abraham's seed and heir according to his promise. Yes, because the Abraham descendants are those who believed. It's not physical anymore. It's those who believed in the coming of the Messiah and Jesus Christ. Those are the true Abraham descendants. If any other pastor is preaching something different, he is heavily influenced by Zionism. I'm not saying that every one of them are paid, like some top ones are paid for that. We just saw, last month, I guess, they took 1,000 pastors to there. Now they want to take another 10,000 to influence them into this false theology called dispensationalism. All right, let me play the second song, and I have more, so hang around. I got more to share today, but I want to play the second song of today, and I think it's this one.
Sound the scream, every voice aligned, preaching the script like they've all been assigned. From the headlines down to the late night show, one message echoed wherever you go. But the truth-seeker knows that kind of sink ain't just chance, it's a reason to think. When every mouth moves in perfect time, there's a red flag flying, a spiritual sign. When the mainstream shouts that same old line, watered down gospel, the wolves design. But the truth burns hot in the watchman's soul. Red flags waving, taking their toll. They preach cheap grace, no cross to bear, no call to repent, just an empty prayer. But faith without fire won't last too long. It's more than believe, or you're dead wrong. Footstep in the church, and the flags stay down. Same smooth talk in a gospel gown. They say just believe and you're sealed for life. No mention of the battle, no cross, no strife. The seeker who saw through the media spin gets blinded when the lie wears a holy grin. But a message that skips over sin and cost is a red flag louder than the one they lost. When the mainstream shouts that same old line, watered down gospel, the wolves design. But the truth burns hot in a watchman's soul. Red flags waving, taking their toll. They grace, no cross to bear, no call to repent, just an empty prayer. But faith without fire won't last too long. It's more than belief. Oh, you're there. The gate is narrow, the way is tight. Few will find it, though it leads to life. So if every voice is saying the same, you better stop and question the claim. Just believe, no cross, no cost. That's the sound of the truth being lost. When the whole world sings in perfect time, there's a red flag waving, a warning sign. Now the red flag's waving the judgment street. Truth is falling at the people's feet, but the watchmen stand with holy fire, calling hearts to rise up higher. Grace is free, but it ain't cheap. It costs the lamb and it runs deep. So don't be fooled by gospel wrong. It's more than believe. It's a lifelong road.
Great video by Rick Hinckley. Baptism is really important. It's not just believe. You need to be baptized and live a life, new life in Jesus Christ. And that goes right to what we are talking right now. I saw the other day this guy, he made a video about it. He had been member of this church for 20 years, 20 years member of this church. He said the pastor never talked to him like birthdays or when his son was born, never the pastor, because they belong to the same Facebook group. The pastor of this church, same pastor for 20 years, never said a congratulations for your newborn baby or happy birthday here. Never. For 20 years, never. The day he posted something against the president, against Trump, not agreeing with the president, like, for example, it should be America first, not the other state in the Middle East first. And then when he posted that, the pastor commented. And he got really mad at the pastor. He said, well, for 20 years I've been a member of this church. You never said any happy birthday, not ever congratulations. But now you come here to defend, a man, So we must be careful with those leaders. False teachers, they are pushing an agenda, And even as JP was showing, this world is ruled by Satanists. Another video that I have, I got to play this sometime, perhaps next week. When you have those city ordinance, like hearings that you go there, all the city representatives are there. And this lady, she stands out and she gets to the microphone and she just says, you guys, all of you must be pedophiles, all of you, because that's her saying there's a big problem here. Everywhere those crimes of pedophilia, and you guys are doing nothing. And it's a very powerful short clip. She goes to the microphone and she says to the panel, those guys gotta be, because they don't do anything. It's just like I think in the UK, all the parliamentarians there, they voted against investigating themselves, crimes. And now I think in the US, the same thing. They passed a law against investigating themselves. So, it's pretty clear we are in Satan's little season. So let me share one more thing. Since we're talking about deception, it's impossible to talk about deception and not to bring TFE into the talk, into the conversation. All those central casting, more and more convinced they are all central casting, especially Jaron Campanella, he was the number one, but all of them, all friends, central casting here. You have David Farina, David Wise, Fight the Flat Earth, Nathan Thompson, Duffy himself, Jaron Campanella, David McKeegan, what's his name, McToon, and Whitsitt. QOP, he uploaded a video about this whole, TFE again. I think that he's going to be here next weekend. We're going to be talking about TFE. This whole, it's all central casting. Right? So you remember last weekend I showed this video here of the astronaut with 3 legs, AI clearly, and that was one of the part of the NASA's footage, supposedly to be in space. And you see there the astronaut having 3 legs, you know, clearly CGI, AI generated video. And this week we had more of this stuff, more deception, more lies. You had with supposedly. Now, I'm not taking sides on this side. I don't care much. I mean, I do, but I don't. I don't want to take sides. But everybody's saying that this person here has 6 fingers. That this is a AI generated email. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fingers. People are saying on me that he is no longer alive. The guy has like all big fingers here. But the point here is like no ring. His ring disappeared, and then you see the next image. You see the ring there, and you see like a 6 finger there too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fingers. Very clear. This is a regular hand with 5 fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because that's what AI does, even that image. I'll go back at the TFE guys. Here you see the ring. Here you don't see the ring. The ring is gone. So yeah, AI will make these mistakes, this sort of mistakes. Just like here, this is supposed to be with its hand, and this is supposed to be McKeegan's hand, but you have 2 hands here. It can be with sits because with sits hand is this one. And so there's, so weird. So that's what they do. And I have videos where they only have 4 fingers or 6 fingers, you know. So that's what AI will do. And you guys remember, and I have to take a bit of credit with this because on the very second day of this guy, I said, no, that it was a fake. That was not real. There was some sort of CGI AI, you know, and I beat that drum here really hard about this, and I'm pretty sure this guy, both of them, him and his wife, are central casting. The dot here jumping, his face disappearing. This whole thing we went over, this several times, and this past week I uploaded a video about one of them. It has been the last one, this one here, possibly being found. And I did some digging, What's his name? Gregory Jarvitz. So I uploaded this picture here to OpenAI to identify this guy. And it gave me the name, but the name that I Google, it gave to this guy, Michael Tysco. So it says this guy's name was Michael Tysco, but this is Michael Tysco. So he is connected to this law firm, which is this law firm here. This law firm here, where this guy appears. But this law firm is the law firm where this lady, Sharon McAuliffe, which looks a lot like the female astronaut, I think the teacher one. So I'm not saying it is, but I compare the images here. This face, it looks so similar, So I don't know. Some people say, yeah, definitely it's him. But anyway, it's a whole bunch of central casting, more central casting, more central casting. So this is satanic world of lies. We don't have a government. We have Satan ruling, and we have his minions. So that's my opinion, guys. That I think it's going on. We are in Satan's little season, and the proof is all around us. Everything. If I look at, like, when I see in Brazil, the politicians there, the politics, the president is a third degree, the vice president here is a third degree. So, it's ruled by people who are Satanists. Hello, someone is just joining the live stream. We don't have much time left, actually. We only have a few more minutes to go. True Christian, I have been reading your comments, and I have invited you for a private conversation if you want, or if you want to be here. You don't need to be showing your video, just audio, and talk about your ideas about church. Because what I understand, it's not that I understand. Like, we need what would we call, like, a group of people that gathers together to worship Christ and praise the Lord. Some people don't agree with, like, the name church, and they give name like hall, like the Jehovah's Witness. They call there, like, the saloon hall, something like that. I don't know. They give it different names. So it's the same thing with different names. So we need to have some gathering. So what do we do? Just gathering of believers? We don't like the name church. So it's not that I don't understand. It's just like, we gather together. Let's say, 10 people, 20 people. We gather together. Should we just give another name because we don't like the name church? So that's the point. You know what I mean? Like, we can still use the word church. We don't need to create a new name for that meetup. So we can say a meetup, maybe. I don't know, but if you want to express your opinion, you are welcome, more than welcome. Just let me know. We can have a show together. You can express your opinion, Give me the Bible verse you want me to display, and I'll create the slides. All right? All right, let's play our last song for tonight, and then we'll be back for the final, words. Let me choose a song here. Should we go? I'm gonna play this one here. It's not too long.
Since the beginning of mankind, people thought the earth was flat. A giant disk underneath a firmament dome. The earth was the center of the universe. 500 years ago, science told us we live on a globe. A spinning ball shot into infinite space. They want us to believe that we're nothing but random stardust. Meaningless. But they're wrong. They lie. Wake up. The earth is flat. The earth is flat. Is a hoax. We never landed on the moon. Do you believe we're living on a rotating ball flying through space at thousands of miles per hour? Where is the curvature? Where? They control our minds. They control our thoughts. They control everything. Think twice. Think again. Wake up. The earth is flat.
I did see a comment here. I'm still in denial about Dave. If you're talking about Dave Wise, I have a great video you can watch. I created this video last year. It's called Flip Flopping Dave and the Shoes. I mean, you see, this is just an example how much he defended TFE, how much he defended Jaron Campanella, best buddies. You know, I mean, I have all the videos there. You go to my TFE PsyOp Exposed, it's right there. It's called Flip Flop Dave and the Shoes, One Summer Night in Antarctica. Okay, Flip Flop Dave and the Shoes, One Summer Night in Antarctica. Let's go to my channels right there. I have a whole bunch of videos, clips of David defending TFE, you know, so embarrassing, defending, oh, they saw the 24-hour sun. Trust me, there's no 24-hour sun in Antarctica, you know. Defending. The guy came out defending those shields, the experiment, whatever it's called. So big disappointment, with David Wise. If you are in denial about it, you must watch this video, right? So I got still a couple more things about. We'll talk about the places where the maps are. The lady was talking about Babylon being the north, but we find it today coming from the east. And this is from Madeline from Live in Babylon. I want to shout out to her. She did send a message saying that she does watch my videos, and a big shout out to her. I do plan to have her, but she's been busy. But anyway, these are some of her slides. And she talks about, we all know about Mary Magdalene, Mary Magdalene, the lady that, this lady that was caught in sin. So if you look at Magdan, it's right here in Siberia, Magdan. Okay, and that's her research. That's the city of Magdan. Yes, Magdan, mentioned in Matthew 15:39, is generally understood to be the same location as Magdala, the hometown of Mary Magdalene. Was a prosperous first-century fishing and fish processing town on the western shore of the Sea of Galilee, likely known by multiple names or forms like Migdal or Dalmanutha. So they see right here, close to Japan, since I believe that the whole continent shifted at the return of Christ in 70 AD, things moved to other places. And here, Magdala, it's Magdan, it's Matthew 15:39, and he sent away the multitude, got into a boat and came to the region of Magdala. He went to the region of Magdala. So there's a book here by Henry Kissinger called World Order. And I believe he shows here Hyperborea. Why would, if Hyperborea does not exist, is a mythical land, why this guy, Henry Kissinger, who is a world leader, as a matter of fact, I'll show you the link here where you can find the book, and this map here in the back, chart of segment of the Western by Edwin Switch Balk. I downloaded this book. It shows Hyperborea there. And I still had more videos to play, guys, just that we don't have time for today, so it'll be at another time. But here's the book right there, Henry Kissinger, and you see, the New World Order. That book was written in the early 70s, and why would he have, the Hyperborea on top of a ball Earth? This is actually this map right here that we have. It's this one right here. Okay, wrapped around the ball. And what I think the Urbano Monte is the map before the release of Satan. And I don't know who made this comment to me, send me, talking about perhaps during the Millennial Kingdom, the whole earth had pleasant temperature, pleasant weather. Okay, that's why we don't have snow around Antarctica. Now, this will blow your mind. I'm going to play a video here for you guys. It's going to blow your mind. Take a listen to this. Guys, I need to wear my glasses real quick here just to find this video. I save it. Okay, take a listen to this video here.
And you might wonder, what are sand dunes doing in Antarctica? It's not the first place in the world that you expect to go to find sand dunes. Well, there are two reasons why we're investigating them. One is because they're unusual and just simply cold climate dunes are not very well understood, because Antarctica is the coldest, windiest and driest continent on Earth. So we're doing this partly for an analogue to see how dunes behave in a cold climate and how surface processes operating on Earth can be compared with surface processes on Mars, but also to understand the dunes in Antarctica themselves. And we've been trying to use the radar to image the internal structure of the dunes to show how that they have evolved and migrated over time. And then we've used optical dating to try to determine the age of the dunes and work out how fast they've been migrating over time. And it appears, on a basis of modern observations and some of these dates, that the dunes appear to be moving a little bit quicker in the present day than they have in the past. And that might possibly be an indicator of warming in Antarctica. But that is somewhat hypothetical.
So sand dunes in Antarctica, so it's my opinion that the climate was way more hotter during the Millennial Kingdom, or pleasant, let's say. And that's what we have today. The red is what we have today, our A map, or flat earth map. But I think during the Millennial Kingdom, that's why we see all those kingdoms. And Jesus said that the saints would be made saints and kings over the earth. And that's why you have so many kingdoms here. And if you see here, this kingdom had this area, King of Portugal right here. And you have, kings ruling all these areas. King of Polonia, and you see more, kingdoms all over this area. So it was given to several kings. You have another king right here, and you have even from Ethiopia, the king of Ethiopia. I think it's this one, right? So they all ruled around this ring around that became ice today, is still retaining all the continents, So that's my view, that the Millennial Kingdom had pleasant environment, weather. And then when Satan was released, there was a lot of shift. You guys know I played several videos talking about the earthquakes that happened, so many things. And, it shifted. Satan, now we are under Satan's jurisdiction, and everything has changed. All right, guys, I want to share with you my website. If you want to support the channel, please do so. Get a map, share with friends, give as a present. Rick, I cannot thank Rick enough for putting up this website. And he has a very nice hat there, flat earth with a PH. It's a way to support the channel. If you want to become a patron, I would appreciate. My lifetime goal is like 20 patrons. It's very hard for me to reach that. Jaron Campanella had 700 patrons. The TFE, the central casting guy, they still from the beginning, he was able to reach 700, deceive 700 people, And here it's not about deception. It's all about the truth. So if you want to consider becoming a Patreon, that's the link right there. I would greatly appreciate. All right, so as far as presentation, I think that's all for today. Let me see the time. We are 1:30. So, please, if you have any more questions, leave your comments, and I will reply to each comment, okay? I sometimes don't have, Yeah, non-denominational. People from different races, different backgrounds, different languages like me. But if we are gathered together under one common name, that's Jesus Christ, the truth of the flat earth. A lot of Christian brothers are still thinking, believing in NASA. We need to make sure they understand the biblical flat earth. Leave your comments. I don't have time sometimes, and I can't really read that well, all the comments. But I want to thank you, everyone, for being here today. It's been a pleasure and a privilege for my part to have so many friends. We have about 90 friends right now watching us live. May the Lord bless each and every one of you, your families, keep you guys safe. Satan is ruling this world. He rules the food industry. The FDA cannot stop these people from mixing human flesh, remains into their food. They don't do anything. It's just like I told you about the ladies, that lady talking about those representatives must all be pedophiles because they don't do anything. Those top ranking of FDA, all those companies, they don't do anything. I mean, I still had more to share with you guys, but don't have time today. Appreciate all of you. May the Lord bless each and every one of you. I hope to see you guys back next weekend. I might have a guest here at QOP, and that's going to be a show specific to talk about TFE, the Shields, the actors, central casting, all of them. So I might play some more videos of Dave Weiss. So perhaps the guy who was on the fence, he might see that he's also part of the controller position. May the Lord bless each and every one of you. I'll see you back next weekend, hopefully, if the Lord Jesus Christ so wishes and allows me. Thanks, guys. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Wonderful, magical, celestial light, fantastical, mystical, wonderful sight. Belgian Swiss physicist Auguste Piccard, 1931, first to reach for the stars, was the first to explore the air view stratosphereus, a scientist curious to see what was there. An aluminium black ball on a helium balloon, with photos and instruments, sailed towards the moon, rose in just half an hour, 52,000 feet, 10 miles up, 10 temperature, up a dead drop in heat and cold, but disproving gravity. Wonderful, mystical, beautiful sight, flat line separation of black from blue light, a world run by deceivers, false make-believers, hiding in shadows, stealing our light. Mystical, fluorescent light, wonderful, magical, awesome, yes, stealing our light. Wonderful, legendary light, supernatural, eternal, supernatural. Up we go, higher than rainbows, higher than mountains, above cumulonimbus, higher than air, high level horizon, 360 around us, but right round behind us, any height that you dare. The sun and the moon both revolve above around us, to forever short time past intelligently there. You'll never beat us, you'll never defeat us, no more you deceive us, keep through you like air. Kipper and Picard were the first ever known to reach up there. Divine luminescent light, mystical, wonderful, celestial light. So what was their eternal testimony? What did they report back to humanity? Said it seemed like a flat disk far as eyes can see, with an upturned edge fading into infinity. A mystical, ethereal, celestial sight, a divine creation, a clockwork of light, designed by deceivers and false when they reach for the stars. Explorers and physicists, Kipper and Picard. Never you'll defeat us, forever beneath us. We see through you like